Council to order Monday, December the 14th, 2015. Call the roll, please.
Barfield.
Here.
Canada.
Here.
Carroll.
Here.
Hall.
Here.
McGuire.
Here.
McManus. Mizell.
Here.
And Short.
Here.
Thank you.
And please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Dear Heavenly Father, we come tonight thanking you for the blessings that you've given each of us. Dear Heavenly Father, we ask that you'd be with the ones there, City Council, dear Heavenly Father, that are having health issues. Be with the families. Dear Heavenly Father, be with the caregivers. Be with our community, dear Heavenly Father, that the ones that have lost loved ones. Be with the sick. Be with our nation, dear Heavenly Father, with the turmoil, the hatred, the haters. Be with our nation, that each decision we make, dear Heavenly Father, will be for a better nation. Be with this council, that the decision they make here tonight will be for the betterment of the community. Yes. Here at the holiday season, dear Heavenly Father, and with the Christmas, be with our armed service personnel that's not only serving on foreign ground, but here in the United States. Be with their families, dear Heavenly. Bring them safely home with their families. We ask in our precious name. Amen. Need a motion to approve the minutes of 11/23/15.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. McManus and second by Mr. Short. Call the roll.
Barfield.
Yes.
Canada.
Yes.
Carroll.
Yes.
Hall.
Yes.
McGuire.
Yes.
McManus.
Yes.
Mizell.
Yes.
And Short.
Yes.
Thank you.
Citizens request. I think all we got families back there, so. Yep. Mayor's report.
You got short than that.
Well, I told Daniil, I said, Daniil, I've got an awful busy day today, and I'll probably be out of breath and everything like that, so just kind of flex it out to everybody else. But under the mayor's report, I will say that we had a very, very good meeting today with Congressman Shimkus, and he actually came down and spent a couple hours in a Port District meeting. We had representatives there today from Lafarge, EEI, Cook Coal, plus RJ Corman, Railroads. Had a very, I think, productive, very positive meeting. And Congressman Shimkus is actually going to help the Port District work on some rail commitments and some requests to our 3 rails that come into our county. And so I feel real comfortable that we're on the verge, I believe, of something that's going to be real good and very productive for our county. Actually, part of it will be in the city of Metropolis, part of it will be in Joppa District and stuff like that, but we had a very, very good meeting. And the fish folks through Heartland Fish are actually, they came into town today and went to the site. Doug actually accompanying them out to look at some of the road work and the site. If nothing happens, they're going to be back. They're staying the night. They're going to be back tomorrow. Actually go out and stake the site where the building's at, and then we're going to meet with them. I have another lunch thing I have to go to, but Rick's going to accompany them for lunch, and then as soon as we get back, we're going to have a meeting in my office to go over some details. Hopefully, we can get some paperwork and get that started and get a commitment from them on some financing and who's gonna build their building and things like that. So they actually met out there with, I think Gerald went out and kind of helped them estimate some road work and stuff like that. And I've already had a conversation with Chuck. Chuck does a lot of, we may have to use his expertise on a little figuring on some road work and stuff like that. That way we get double the money because we won't have to pay him again. So you gotta look ahead, guys. You know, you gotta get everything you can out of them. And but we have had a very good day today, and looking forward. As most of you know, the folks at the Pansing Building are in there painting. They have got their liquor license. They've moved forward with all that, remodeling, stuff like that. The Henleys are really going to town in that building. I presume now that I think the old bookstore building has sold. It has sold, so the lady that used to be in the building, I can't remember what the name of that place is, over by Farley's.
Honeysuckle Road.
Honeysuckle Rose, I think she's actually expanded over now into the chamber building.
She purchased it.
So
Wow.
she's got 2 buildings there now, so we're gonna have an issue we're going to discuss just very briefly in closed session. If that was to move forward, we will have 5 potentially new activity businesses in the Uptown District, which is really good. And I do know of one more that's actually had a meeting with a realtor on a different building. I've had a conversation with another young man that actually filled an application maybe for something else. So, you know, it's been a good month for us. I mean, we've got
Did
a
the
lot going on.
Pansing people also close on the corner lot?
Yes, I think they have.
I think so, yeah.
I think they closed last week.
Okay.
I know they closed on their building, and I think they were supposed to close on that also.
I think they did.
Yeah.
I think they did.
And they were in town today, because I seen,
He came by your
Glenn,
office.
yeah.
Yeah.
he come by the office, and I had an office full, so. I think that's all I had to report, so I'll turn it over to corporate counsel.
Thank you, Mayor. First item I had on the agenda, after the last time we spoke concerning the collective bargaining agreement, you gave me authority. We basically ran that proposal by the Firefighters Association. They accepted that. So in turn, I drafted the language that we sent to them. What you have in front of you, and by the way, there's one little bit that might be confusing, I want to clear it up. After page 37, which 37 says it's a signed letter agreement, which has been in all our previous ones. Okay, this is old stuff. All right. There's a bunch of pages. If you looked at it, or if you look at it later, it looked a little like this. Okay.
Yeah.
All that stuff that got deleted, but we were deleting so much stuff that when you track your changes on the computer, it had to print this out as separate pages just to show what was deleted. Okay? That'll all come out of there. That's all pulled out. That stuff has no bearing. The actual last page of the real contract will say memorandum of understanding, which is 38 down there. That stuff in between, it just comes out.
I started calling you over the weekend, and asked you if you've got to take your finger off that button.
Yeah, well, sort of. That's when you're tracking changes and you make a lot of them or you make big ones. It can't always print it out here in the little margin, so it'll just print it on a separate page. But if there are any questions, now I will tell you this: I had a call. I had a discussion Friday. There was a couple of things that need to be clarified, so I went ahead and did that. Got those redrafted a little bit and clarified, and then met with the chief last week too on Thursday. Looked at some issues, and then was told today that they had approved this. Okay, in this form. So we gave it back to them, and they have approved this. If you want to discuss it, we can discuss it here. We can discuss it in closed session, or if you think you're ready, we can go ahead and act on it. But basically, it's where we left off is where it is. Okay. our final proposal back to them.
I'll make a motion to suspend the rules.
I'm not sure which number.
2015-25 is gonna be the ordinance.
Motion made by Mr. McGuire, second by Mr. McManus. Call the roll, please.
Barfield.
Yes.
Canada.
Yes.
Carroll.
Yes.
Hall.
Yes.
McGuire.
Yes.
McManus. Mizell.
Yes.
And Short.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'll make the motion, we adopt the ordinance as presented.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. McManus, and second by Mr. Hall. Call the roll, please.
Barfield.
Yes.
Canada.
Yes.
Carroll.
Yes.
Hall.
Yes.
McGuire.
Yes.
McManus.
Yes.
Mizell.
Yes.
And Short.
Yes.
Thank you.
And the next item that was stuck under me is, adopting an ordinance, enacting a supplement to code of ordinances. Every, I think, it's either 6 months or annually, Jan knows, I can't remember. Annually, we send off all our ordinances, and the code company redrafts them. Sometimes they even give us updates based on changes in the law, if there's something that's changed in the law, that would affect ours. I think she handed you out the blue supplements already, and that's all this is. These are things that have already been enacted, they're just now being made a part of the code, officially. They're actually ordinances that have been enacted. We found some discrepancies lately, I will say this, and before the next round goes out, we are gonna have a sit-down with the code people from American Legal Publishing, because I continue to find some discrepancies that I'm not thrilled with, to say the least. Some stuff that's taken too long to get in there, even when we've given it to them multiple times, and some other things that just have never made it in. Some fines and penalties that have never made it in. So,
I'll make a motion, we adopt an ordinance approving a adopting a supplement to the code of ordinances for the city of Metropolis and declaring an emergency, which will be ordinance 2015-26.
26.
Motion made by Mr. Carroll, second by Mr. McManus. Call the roll, please.
Barfield.
Yes.
Canada.
Yes.
Carroll.
Yes.
Hall.
Yes.
McGuire.
Yes.
McManus. Mizell.
Yes.
And Short. Thank you.
that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Abel. Next committee report, Water, Light, and Street, Mr. Barfield, sir.
Yes, sir. Mayor, these 5 items come before the Water Electric Street Committee meeting last 10th. And I will make the motions on the following. I will make the motion to approve recommendation to conditionally award contract for combined separation phase 2 to ACIX in the amount of $5,954,287, subject to IEPA approval.
Second.
Motion made by
It's Barfield and McGuire.
Motion made by Mr. Barfield, second by Mr. McGuire. Discussion.
Got one question there. As far as, now, if this is passed, and the EPA gives us our loan at low interest, correct?
2%, well, a little less than 2%.
That we discussed. How's that going to affect as far as our sewer or water?
Won't affect the water whatsoever.
Okay, what about our sewer?
Don't know for sure yet.
We don't know exactly. We gotta wait and see the loan agreement when it comes to us. They gotta approve this and say, yes, this is within what we've basically decided is the scope of what you wanna do. And then they'll issue us, if they say yes to that, they'll issue us a loan agreement about the same time. Then we'll look at the loan agreement, and that'll give us an idea compared to our current rates and our budget, what we'll have to do, and our income from it.
Now, at the same time, when we were back several years ago, when we were working this through, we was looking at one time, or we could get up to 9 million, wasn't it?
something like that, so we're under budget at this point with this.
So now this is gonna take care of our sewer plant and, or just those phases getting to the
Yes,
sewer
yeah.
plant?
Getting to it,
Yeah.
this is finishing up phase one and doing phase two, if I remember right, from our long-term control plan that we agreed to do. And then we'll stop and we'll test and we'll see how much more progress we've made. We've looked at this as phases all along because as we do a phase or we do get parts of this project complete, we stop and we test and we say, well, how much improvement did we get in terms of our discharges from the CSO? How much closer are we to compliance? So we may, ultimately, we hope, we don't have to go all the way to the last phase, or we don't have to go all the way to because some of this gets more expensive as we go along. But,
Well, at this point though, we're satisfying the EPA.
Yes.
yes.
And, now, we've readjusted some of the stuff, we had a true plan that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 maybe. We've tried to move it, through the work of the engineers, they've actually looked at it and said, well, dollar for dollar and relief from the EPA, if we do this first, it has helped us. This manhole rehab is, that's going to be a tremendous help right there. I'm glad they suggested that we do that first. I think with this next phase, that what we're fixing to do now, we let that contract, it's going to make a big improvement in our operation. So hopefully, that's gonna give us a little, breathing, relief and stuff like that, and see where we're gonna go from there. But it's gonna take a lot of pressure off of our sewer system, so. All right, we do have a motion. We do have a second. Call the roll, please.
Barfield.
Yes.
Canada.
Yes.
Carroll.
Yes.
Hall.
Yes.
McGuire.
Yes.
McManus. Mizell.
Yes.
And Short.
Yes.
Thank you.
I will make the motion to approve amendment number 2 to engineering contract with HMG Engineers to provide resident observation services to the combined sewer separation phase 2 project at a cost not to exceed $300,000, subject to IEPA approval.
Second.
I got a question on this. A few years back, we had an observation made. Are they aware of this? Is there any way they can use that?
According to what we ask and things like that, no engineering firm is allowed what's the legal terms?
Well, they can't borrow the other guy's work, so to speak, and copy it as theirs, but this is not
is
design
not it.
work. This is
not
This is
design.
not design, this is once they open the ground up and they look,
Inspection.
this is for monitoring this construction project. If we go forward with this phase 2, this is the engineering construction observation, if you will, for phase 2. This
Like
is
we
somebody
had on
on site.
phase
Yes.
Yeah, like we had on phase 1.
This is not observation of the individual households to see where their sewers are running in the sewer, their gutters are running in the sewer, or where?
No, this is the observation of the construction project of phase 2. The observation of where households went was a part of the initial study that was
We've
done.
got that.
Yeah.
That led to the design of this, okay?
Okay.
This was that was used to create this design, but now we're getting ready to do construct. This is like when we go build a road and we gotta have somebody out there to watch the contractor to make sure he puts in
Well-
and compacts and all. This is the same thing, just like we did with,
Mr.
Mr.
Farrell,
Knowles
it's the
before.
same, this is the same thing as what Chad
Chad Vance did.
in Ward 2 when we did Catherine Street and
Yes.
Metropolis Street. Actually where he goes out and makes sure that it's done right
Done
on site.
according to the plans.
Well, that resident observation service is what throws me there.
That's what EPA calls it. They call
Oh,
it resident
EPA.
engineering. They call it
Well,
RE.
they don't call it anything.
Yeah, well, they could, that's true, but they call it RE. is
That's what
they
they're
call
calling it this week.
Yeah.
It may change next week.
I've got some choice words
Yeah.
for them.
All right, we do have a motion, we do have a second. Any other discussion? Questions? Call a roll, please.
Barfield.
Yes.
Canada.
Yes.
Carroll.
Yes.
Hall.
Yes.
McGuire.
Yes.
McManus.
Yes.
Mizell.
Yes.
And Short.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Barfield, before we go on to the next one, I would like to say that, we've had a lot of engineers, you know, through the years. Many of us sitting around here now, we've gone through, I know, probably 3 sets of engineers and things like that. And we've all had the conversations of the engineering stuff that, you know, this year and next year it changes, and so you get to re-engineer it and this and that and something else. I will say John and Doug and the company are very, very aware of, just like, for instance, the water plant. You know, we approved a certain amount of money, you know, to make those adjustments in that water plant. After that was done, they had been paid. They actually came back and said, you know, I think by spending another 10, we can eliminate $15,000 worth of callback costs and stuff like that. They don't have to do that. You know, they could ignore that, and then we get to pay them again, you know, in the next thing. They're awfully good about looking ahead. Well, if we do this now, we won't have to call that company back to do it again. They can do it while they're on site. And I do appreciate, you know, that's just like Doug today. We had the fish company come in. I called Doug, you know, an hour before they came and asked him if, you know, can you break yourself away where you can go show them where the road's gonna be and everything like that? Absolutely no problem. No grumble, say, well, I didn't have that, and I got this to do and that and something else, and that's really good for, you know, to have people that's looking out for our dollar, not just padding their pockets. And it's done every day, so fortunately, they are a good company to do business with.
Yes, sir, that's a fact, Mayor, and in fact, on the next item, they're using local, local labor over $83,000.
Yep.
And they manipulate everything that works out best for the city.
Well, they're kind of working right now for us, like our insurance people. You know, they've saved us a lot of money because they're, you know, they negotiate everything that goes out and tries to get every dime back they can get. And I, for one, appreciate that. And I know in Mr. Carroll's ward and Don's ward, that first project, all Mr. Carroll had to do, and at that time, Mr. Midnight, was call the office and say, Joe Blow has a problem down there with a sidewalk, a curb, or whatever. They were right down there inspecting that, and I do appreciate that. And
HMG has been very forward in what they're doing. They've been very good advising us as to what is to be done. And I appreciate the fact that we've been able to talk with them like we have.
yeah, I agree. Doug, take that back to John, then we'll give us a little discount on that.
There you go.
It was planned out, Doug.
I think
The
we ought to
big
have
yeah.
Doug get up and give a speech.
I was looking at that 300,000, that'd be a good place to get a discount.
Yeah,
That's about 83,000.
By the way, that's a not to exceed. I did talk
it's
to him
not
about
to
that.
exceed.
He actually thinks, I talked to John and I talked to Brian Buckheit, and they both think it'll come in quite a bit less than that, but they wanted to just give some flexibility. It's an hour, they're gonna do it on an hourly charge basis.
Right.
And they start with the lowest hourly people they can to put on something like that, but.
And we do know for a fact, when you start opening them streets and stuff up out there, sometimes you find things you don't know there.
I feel pretty good that it'll come in later.
I think it will too, based on recent history.
All right.
You can tell John that too.
Okay, did you have a second?
Not yet.
We do have a motion by Mr. Barfield,
I
and we
got
have a
one
second now by Mr. McManus, and I apologize for doing that before we had a second. We do have a motion, we do have a second. Call the roll, please.
Barfield.
Yes.
Canada.
Yes.
Carroll.
Yes.
Hall.
Yes.
McGuire.
Yes.
McManus. Mizell.
Yes.
And Short.
Yes.
Thank you.
I will make a motion to accept the quote for items to be purchased regarding interceptor manhole rehabilitation in the amount of $7,594.
Second. That's something you should have had done a while back.
And this will be using our people. Just material only.
Yeah. Go ahead and call that roll.
Barfield.
Yes.
Canada.
Yes.
Carroll.
Yes.
Hall.
Yes.
McGuire,
Yes.
McManus, Mizell,
Yes.
and Short.
Mr. Barfield, we missed one on the bottom of the page, motion to accept estimated cost of chemical feeding.
Well, I thought we had that, but I'll go back.
No,
Wasn't it?
No.
we did.
We'd already called the roll on the
we-
previous one.
You made the motion, but I'm not sure we ever got a second, we didn't vote on it, I don't think.
Water, light, and
No, we
street
didn't vote on
started
it.
around here, so this is where we're at.
Well, I'll retract that then. I will make a
Well,
motion to accept the cost.
do.
We
We do have
That's
that.
what I'm saying.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
second that.
Maybe I just didn't write it down, I
I thought that
apologize.
was on engineering.
No.
No,
Did you vote on the
we done
engineering
it
too?
engineering.
Oh,
It's from all the cookies, we're going faster.
McManus,
Cooking and speeding.
Cookies are kicking it in.
I apologize, Mr. Barfield, I just didn't write it down.
I thought I got him off track too, I was looking
For
for.
those who
the
think
motion I
the
went
cookies
to.
are going through, for those who
Yeah.
It's that
didn't.
sugar.
I quit.
It's working, it's working. Gluten killing us.
Are we clear on that? No one
Yes,
now?
sir,
We are.
clear as mud.
All right, back to the ranch, all right. I will make a motion on the last one here to accept the repairs at the water treatment facility from Helitech in the amount of $1,448 from an earlier meeting.
second.
They actually came and did that, Mr. Barfield, I think.
I think it was 2 cracks or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was actually a staircase. It did it one day this week or one day last week? Last
It was the
Thursday?
10th, yeah, Thursday.
Okay. Second by Mr. Hall. We do have a motion by Mr. Barfield, a second by Mr. Hall. Call the roll, please.
Barfield.
Yes?
Canada.
Yes.
Carroll.
Yes.
Hall.
Yes.
McGuire.
Yes.
McManus. Mizell.
Yes.
And Short.
Yes.
That completes our report, Mayor.
I'm not sure we did the interceptor manhole.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
We did.
No more cookies, boys.
All right. That's totally confusing.
I hope.
We're all right.
Are we sure?
We're
We've
sure.
done we've completed all water,
It
light,
may have
and
been a little
street.
backwards or something like that. We got
That's
it
all right, as long as it works,
All
but.
right. Next committee, Finance Committee, Mr. Barfield, sir.
All right, Mayor, we had a meeting previously, before our, regular meeting here, and, we had, Jeremy from, Jeremy, he gave us an update on our insurance, and pretty good news all the way through, it's almost $800,000 saving. So it was accepted and recommended, so I will make a motion, we accept it.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Barfield and second by Mr. Carroll. Call the roll, please.
Barfield.
Yes.
Canada.
Yes.
Carroll.
Yes.
Hall.
Yes.
McGuire.
Yes.
McManus. Mizell.
Yes.
And Short.
How did we do on that one?
You done great.
Thank you.
We're all on the same page with that.
Now Chad's got a lot.
Next item. Well, part of his is just updates and stuff like that. Chad,
Sure.
you got your agenda there in front of you?
The first item there, that motion. to
That doesn't
accept-
need to be a motion, that's
Yeah,
just an update.
That's just an update, that's just
Mark
we
through
approved
that
our
motion.
planning commission schedule for next year. We did do a initial review of a zoning text amendment regarding the article, I think 20, bear with me. Article 26 of the City of Metropolis zoning code related to signs. This is just the initial review of that, but we recommended going to public hearing. We're holding that public hearing this Thursday night at 5:30. There will be another, recommendation made to you guys for the ordinance and final approval of this. Clyde, Wills, the chairman of the commission, brought about couple of sign changes too that he wanted to make, so that's where the proposal came from. And let's see, motion to approve proceeding with a code violation, that has resolved itself,
Yes,
so. we,
disappeared overnight.
Yeah, over the weekend, we had, something where I'd sent out first notice, second notice, and it was getting due to do something about it, and I think they decided
It
to
either,
finally
it
do
either
something
left
about it.
either Saturday or Sunday, one of the two.
And then the last one, which is something that, yeah, we probably wanna address tonight, it's, an adopt an ordinance approving a plat subdivision of lot 2 of the second edition in the industrial park. So we need to, there was a motion to suspend the rules and place an ordinance approving a plat subdivision, lot 2 of the second edition of the industrial park. This This was something that started a while back. We were re-subdividing one of the lots in the second edition. This is the property that the water tower sits on. It was close to about 3 acres. We were going to convey off 1 acre of that for a project where a gentleman wants to put a building out there and run a business. It's not a retail business, but it is a industrial business, electric business. So we had that property deeded off. We're ready to proceed. If you Planning Commission took a look at the plat of subdivision and approved it. Now we're here with the ordinance tonight to certify and get the plat recorded and get the property to the young man.
Is that Max Russell?
Yeah, yeah.
Can I make a motion to do that?
Motion by Mr. McGuire. Second by Mr. McManus.
It's gonna be 27.
It's 27. All right. Call the roll, please.
Barfield.
Yes.
Canada.
Yes.
Carroll.
Yes.
Hall.
Yes.
McGuire.
Yes.
McManus.
Yes.
Mizell.
Yes.
And Short.
Yes.
Excellent.
I'll make a motion to adopt the ordinance 27 as presented. Call the roll, please.
Barfield.
Yes.
Canada.
Yes.
Carroll.
Yes.
Hall.
Yes.
McGuire.
Yes.
McManus.
Yes.
Mizell.
Yes.
And Short.
Yes.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Chad.
I think so. He's had Holcomb, he's also got his, civil engineer do his site plan though, so.
That's good.
Yeah, Holcomb said it was fine, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what-
He's ready to go as soon as.
Next time, Industrial Committee. Mr. McManus, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Well, what we have a motion to approve the CDAP revolving loan to Adrian and Leanne Henley in accordance with term sheet. And once again, this is not coming out of our general fund. This is CDAP money from the state.
Yes.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Mizell, second by Mr. McManus. Call the roll, please.
Barfield.
Yes.
Canada.
Yes.
Carroll.
Yes.
Hall.
Yes.
McGuire.
Yes.
McManus. Mizell.
Yes.
And Short.
Yes.
Thank you.
That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Department heads. Frank?
Nothing at this time, Mayor.
Mr. Morris?
Nothing there, sir.
Chad said his due. We are represented here tonight. Happy to have Rick Griffey, which is filling in the absence of Chief Massey. And Chief Massey is doing very well. He is home. He came home last Thursday and has been able to, he and Kim both have been able to get some rest and recuperating. He'll be going back to the doctor very shortly for I guess to be observed and take some of the clamps, stitches, or what they put him back together with, baling wire or whatever. Rick said he did talk to him today or yesterday,
Went by there yesterday.
and Kim, I haven't talked to him. I've been texting Kim back and forth, but he is doing very well, so he's not, he thought he'd be ready to come back in about a week. I think he's kinda changed his mind. I think he's gonna stay off for a
He
little
went even
while.
to church yesterday.
So, and I think that's, the only other item that I know of is, I will be bringing a name, very shortly, to the council. What I'd like to do before I do bring that name, I wanna give that name to Ken. I want Ken to actually sit down and talk to the gentleman, to let him understand what the roles of that police and fire commission is, and make sure that it's something that he is interested in and stuff like that, and we'll move forward with that. I'm gonna try to do that maybe at the next council meeting, but Doug, you have anything you need to?
No, I think you guys, covered it all.
Okay. Old business. New business. Miscellaneous reports. I have one miscellaneous report that I am saddened to be making. It's not good, I don't think. We are going to be losing Tara. So I'm gonna turn the floor over to Tara.
Well, wow. After 8 years of covering you guys, my position at the plant has been eliminated, and but I have been offered another job, working in the pagination, building pages over at the Sun, and it's been a pleasure working with you guys, and thank you so much for your help and assistance, and as you guys know, I've tried to cover you truthfully, and I hope you appreciate that. Thank you. I'll be with you on the 28th.
She'll be here at the 28th.
It starts on, my new position starts on the 4th.
I see a party.
We gotta get something in the paper, man.
Well, I can tell you, I have to deal with the paper quite often. Mr. Abel actually deals with it more than I do. A lot of it is legal questions and legal answers and stuff like that. We've had a lot of representation through the years, on this city council, and I'm not saying we've not had good ones. But I can tell you, in my opinion, this is my opinion only, we've never had anybody that was as honest and as truthful as Tara. If it's bad, and it's her obligation to bring that to the news. But she has always go out of her way to be professional, to ask us, they can put anything they want to in there. They don't have to ask any questions. But I can tell you, it's never put in there until she sits down with Rick or myself, where she understands what the issue is. And then, if it's still bad news, she's obligated to put it in there like that. But I can tell you for one thing, we as city government will miss the professionalism of her office and stuff like that.
She's sure been accommodated. I'll say
Good.
that for her.
Very good.
Put that on your record.
Have another cookie, Tara.
All right, moving on. Finance report, payment of salaries, payroll, and contract bills. Moved by Mr. McManus. Second by Mr. Short. Call the roll, please.
Barfield.
Yes.
Canada.
Yes.
Carroll.
Yes.
Hall.
Yes.
McGuire.
Yes.
McManus. Mizell.
Yes.
And Short.
Yes.
Thank you.
Payment of miscellaneous bills. Moved by Mr. McManus.
Second.
Second by Mr. Mizell. Call the roll, please.
Barfield.
Yes.
Canada.
Yes.
Carroll.
Yes.
Hall.
Yes.
McGuire.
Yes.
McManus.
Please.
Mizell.
Yes.
And Short.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. We do have a need for a closed session. It will be very brief. We're gonna try to keep it we need to get out of here, and it'll be very brief. We have to bring up something about sale, lease, or exchange of real estate, pending litigation. Will be the two items discussed.
I'll make a motion to go into
I'll
executive session for those two.
And,
Barfield.
Yes.
Canada.
Yes.
Carroll.
Yes.
Hall.
Yes.
McGuire.
Yes.
McManus. Mizell.
Mr. Carroll, are you all right?